The Checkpoint is presented by GM Pharma, the first international multinational pharmaceutical company in Georgia. GM Pharma, to serve those who need it most.
Before we say goodbye for now, we will offer you an exclusive interview with Ruben Vardanyan that the editor-in-chief of Forbes Georgia and our reporter Giorgi Isakadze recorded for the Checkpoints. Ruben Vardanyan ranks on Forbes Billionaires List 2021. As Forbes reports, known as the father of the Russian stock market, Ruben Vardanyan co-founded investment company Troika Dialog in the early 1990s.
Yes, Elene, and in 2013, Vardanyan and his manager sold Troika Dialog to a state-owned Sberbank for $1.4 billion. Vardanyan founded investment boutique Vardanyan, Broitman and Partners, which serves ultra-high net worth individuals in 2014.
Exactly, David. So now Forbes Georgia and the Checkpoints will also have this interview in their archives.
You still remain by the Forbes as 116 in the list, at the same time pointed at a billionaire, venture philanthropist, but you are speaking last month quite actively, and I missed this opportunity, and thank you again for the fact that we can talk about that you are speaking loudly about the kind of Armenia that should be built. I cannot say that you were not talking about it before. At least I followed some quotes coming personally from you, but you became like more active in this regard, revealed at the same time this phenomena by the public opinion polls, and at the same time, let me quote once again, a readiness to be both a janitor and the leader of the country, let me say so.
You made slight translation.
I
was more.
Yeah, I'm trying to make it like as much as I can. Please, what kind of situation do we have so far right now, while you are pointing such activities on your behalf?
First of all, I will start from the very important point, saying I've been actively involved of the building of future of Armenia last 20 years. It's not just nice sentence I can prove by the project that I've been doing in Armenia and doing all these years, and the way how it was organized. It was not like emotional charity activity. It was done by strategic vision about what needs to be done in Armenia. Many people ask me, why is Tatev Monastery, for example, or Dilijan school? Is because your parents from Dilijan or your wife from Tatev? I said no, because it's strategically was these places was chosen by our consultant company who decided to describe how we see the future of Armenia development. That's why, first of all, I want to say the last 20 years I've been doing with clear purpose how I see and how we see, not myself only, but with the hundreds of partners and people who support us, we see future of Armenia around building around education, about excellent best standards and many other things.
But you confirm, sorry for interruptions, that you are not doing business in Armenia last 20 years. Am I right?
Except I've been investing in the best bank in Armenia, Sberbank, which was we started in 2007, and then the bank became now #1 bank in Armenia. It's true. It's not, but always including this bank, the project which we've been doing also commercial. For example, we had a small tourist agency, or we had a best real estate building. We built it where is Sberbank now located as a headquarter. It's all been done on the purpose of developing the Armenians. Why whatever money was made stay in Armenia and was made for making Armenia more prosper.
You still remain as a shareholder of that bank, Mr. Vardanyan?
Yes, I have a minority. I'm not anymore the controlling shareholder, but yes, I'm continuing shareholder of the bank. But I'm out of the board. A bank operates fully independent. We got international IFIs like shareholders and the management operate and control the bank fully.
Okay. Sorry for
second point.
interrupting you. Yeah, you'll be talking about your projects. Go ahead.
The first point I made. The second point I want to say, of course, Artsakh, what happened last year around Artsakh, the war, and the results of the war was heavy, hurt all of us and people who've been living in Armenia, people not living in Armenia at the time. And it was a critical moment for myself also, and I said in my interview, for me it was very critical for many reasons, but I found myself that I need to make a choice to be more active or stay out of what's happening in Armenia at all. And this is the second reason why maybe I become more vocally present to the current public area. The third, I'll say, was also very important because of the post-war trauma. The crisis that we are facing is not only linked to the war around Karabakh, but overall existential challenge about the future of Armenian nation. Not only who be living in Armenia, but also the people who live in different countries. And I believe this crisis is much more important, much more serious compared to many other things what's happened with us during the last years. Because not only political crisis, not only the crisis around the war, which we lost during last year, but more about what kind of the future we see like nation and how we see ourselves building the state in Caucasus, how we see ourselves keeping our culture and historical heritage in different places around the world, and many other things. So I become more vocal, and it is done by understanding that this is the time what you need to make your decision. Are you in or you're not? About caring about your nation, caring about next generations, Armenians who will grow up and will want to see their future linked to Armenia or not.
And you're in, or you always been in?
I always been in, but maybe what changed, I've been more proactive also talking not about the future of Armenia, because we've been doing Armenia 2020 projects 20 years ago. We are starting Armenia 2041 project now. It was unfortunately symbolic, which is exactly this horrible events happened in 2020, the year of the finalizing our first period of vision of Armenia and how Armenia where to go, how Armenia where is Armenia going, and how it's developing. And it was unfortunately the time of the serious analysis of why we did something, what happened, I say differently, how it's always happened, what was done wrong, and why we achieved what we achieved. It was very important for me to understand that you cannot just look forward for 20 years, which is I believe is very important, and I continue to believe it's very critical to be long-term oriented. At the same time, also I realize now, because of the current situation, it will be critical to talk and to think about how you can improve some of these situations now, not in 10, 20 years' time.
At the same time, you're pointing that due to the local polls and surveys, what your team is doing permanently in Armenia, I'm taking and quoting you for one of your last interviews done with Russia Business Consulting, and you're pointing three directions of the populations, how they think or feel or perform. At the same time, Ruben Vardanyan is pointing that it is not a classic way how he's going to be a part of Armenian politics. What do I mean by this? I'm talking about formalities like political party, some legal entities and things like that. You are more talking about some sort of movement to some sort of new ideology, those who really needs drive, who wants to speed up with economic recovery and things like that. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're right, George. I think you took the right points. I'm I'm convinced what we needed is nation leaders who will come together. It cannot be many of us, but it needs to be at least dozens of the people who will come from different professions, but people who nation trust, people who really feeling responsible for the future of not only their own life and their own families, but also for the nation. People who will come together and define the strategy, not only talking about Armenia, but Armenian world in general, because we have a lot of issues and a lot of challenges which we need to find the right answers, which not only linked to what's happening in Armenia, but is also what's happening around the world. That's why I believe we are in a stage of our development where we need to find the platform where people can come together, talk frank and open about the diagnosis which we need to put honest and transparent for ourselves without building any illusions and dreams, and try to find the medicine how we can improve the situation with the understanding of reality. And this is the critical for people who not only living in Armenia, but also not only people who live in Armenia, but also people who live in other part of the world. And it was for me, it was very important also to say this is not only question about how you manage the country, but also how we manage the nation, which includes not only government institutions, but also public institutes. It includes the formal rules, but also informal rules, because we all know, like you've been in Georgia, it's you have a legislation, but also you have informal traditions, informal rules, which people can follow or don't follow, depends on the changes happening around us. This is why I believe we are in a stage where we need to think seriously about not only how we're managing country, how the country is will be built by state institution, but also how in general society can become unified and collaborative to each other to build future of Armenia like state and country, but also Armenian nation, which is much more complicated, much more difficult.
The Checkpoint is presented by GM Pharma, the first international multinational pharmaceutical company in Georgia. GM Pharma, to serve those who need it most.